You don't want to be aggressive because the reality is
People are devastated.
people are devastated,
Yeah.
especially after like the floods, these hurricanes.
Oh, yeah. Hurricane damage did a lot of damage.
Hurricane did a lot of damage. Hurricane Helene did a lot of water flood damage.
Mhm.
Hurricane Ian did a ton of damage to Sanibel and Kiva and Fort Myers and those areas.
Yeah.
And people had 4 feet of water in their house. They don't want to be sold anything 2 days after it happened.
Welcome to Stop Whining About Real Estate. Join us as we chat, sip, banter, and wine with the best in the biz. Grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and let's wine together.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is St. Germain. I am your host of Stop Whining About Real Estate. On my left, I've got the lovely Sarah Birnbaum, my co-host. And our special guest of the day is a good friend of mine, Dan Labow. He is a public adjuster for Coastal Claim Service. Did I get all that correct?
You did.
Perfect. I even gave you a cue card, by the way. This is how little lack of trust they have in my memorization. And I played right into it, by the way.
You did a great job.
Let's, Dan, welcome to the show. All right. So let's start off with a personal story. Dan did help me with a claim that I had at my home. And I can tell you, so one of the things I wanted to talk about from obviously this show's about real estate. We talk all things real estate. And as a homeowner, you just don't, there's certain things that you experience in life and with your house that you really don't have any clue about. And one of those things, I had bought new construction. So when all of a sudden I started having a water leak, so I live in a 3-story townhouse, so you guys have been in my house. And now said I had an intrusion that was coming to through the 3rd floor. And then I literally was, so the crazy thing is this, I had noticed signs, but I was just kind of too naive and ignorant to know what it meant. Where the what do you call it? The baseboard, what's that called? Baseboard. Where it was connecting was kind of splitting. And I did remember Dan is in my BNI and had done a commercial talking about when a baseboard is splitting, it's a sign of water intrusion. And I had no clue. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I guess maybe that somehow water came in. And I just, again, thought it was nothing more than that. Then all of a sudden I'm sitting up by 2nd floor, which is where my TV is, and drip, drip, water is hitting me in the head. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong. Time to call Dan. And, again, I go back to the personal story because the aspect of it for me is like, I had no clue what I was doing. And, as Dan came in, he gave me too many options, to be honest with you. I'm like, Dan, simplify it. I trust you. You're my friend. Tell me what tell me what I'm supposed to do. Cause I've never been with that. And I would equate it to kind of like, have you ever been at a bar? Okay. The very first time I caught, wait, you drive, you probably that step, but if you look back to the first one that you had and you're being like, okay, on that, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And there's also one that's kind of walked you through the steps that aren't, all that stuff. That's how I felt the house. And so for me, I can personally testify that Dan was tremendous. We had to go to, is it called mitigation? Mediation, it's not mitigation. Had to go to new mitigation. We had mitigated after, right? Yeah. We had mediation in life. I barely had to do any of the talking. He handled so much of the trip. It was just a really easy overall process. It's much accompanying that for a simple Sarah, in this case, simple Emmanuel, that you haven't gone for. I added myself to it when you haven't been through it. So again, I thank you for that, but my personal testimonial too. So.
But even now that you've been through it, you would still call him again to handle it or mitigate it.
Yeah, because I'm a very hands-off. Here you go, Dan. What do you think? Let me get back to work.
The matter is when a trouble insurance claims, most people have no clue. They call their insurance company who they think is the best because they seem on TV.
Right.
And, they see Patrick Mahomes with the State Farm commercials, or man with the Allstate commercials, Liberty with the emu. And they think that whoever comes out on their behalf is going to get them utmost, attention, and they're in their best interest. The fact of the matter is, sure, companies have guidelines when they send somebody out, they will remind them for it. And the average homeowner has no idea what the guidelines are. They have no idea when you buy a starter, I like when you get a mortgage. You get a mortgage, you need a stack of documents. You point out a lot of our digital now, but it'll be reasonable.
Right.
You get your insurance policy. You get a declaration page, which is about 1 or 2 pages, and you know your coverages. You put them away. But there's about 95 to 100 pages behind there of terminology that the insurance company changes ought to be every month that most people bet even. They did statute or legislative capacity, but a law and a case law, which is when an attorney will file a lawsuit on behalf of file your other, and that comes case law. And all of that has to do with insurance claims. And most people have no clue. As a professional, that's what I do. I step in, I give them the knowledge that I have, the experience, and the peace of mind to know that their claim is in good hands and that they can know that they have somebody trusted that's going to handle their claim.
Let's start something real simple, like, and let's assume Sarah lived the house.
Yeah.
And let's say that I don't know that we had a storm and you had a roof leak and the water. So I guess for us would be water intrusion tends to be the majority of what our issues are. Is that correct? That is one letter in South Florida. So let's just say, all right. So all of a sudden, Sarah realizes she has a leak, and maybe the storm was a month ago, 2 weeks ago. Who knows? It all depends on how much time it takes for that leak to come through, et cetera. Walk us and the audience through like step 1, step 2, like what are you supposed to do? What's the right pecking order of who to reach out to and things like that?
So the first thing you want to do when you have a roof leak is contact somebody who can come out and assess why it's leaking. As a public adjuster, I'm happy to do a free inspection, no obligation consultation. Come out there, take a look at it, but I'm not a professional roofer.
Right. Leader.
Bring me a roofer out there. And the reality also is what color the roof. If it's just rain, there's a very good chance the funds not going to be covered because rain is not a covered peril in our insurance policy. So, for example, if it's raining for 40 days and 40 nights, like they know where they are.
So hold on, wait a minute. I pay $5,000 a year for all of this insurance, and you're telling me that the water that came into my house somehow might not be covered?
Might not be covered. Every insurance policy has either some insurance companies have what's called in their policy called an ensuing loss provision. And basically what it is that if the cause of loss isn't covered, the ensuing loss may or may not be covered, depending on what the policy says. If you have a citizen's insurance policy, there must be a storm-rated opening in a roof floor for any interior damage.
So I'm assuming that when Sarah bought her house and she got insurance, all of this was explained to you, right?
I would never do an insurance policy tonight.
No, but I mean, it's like, it's one of those, I mean, swear her, but it's one of those shitty things about insurance because the agent's doing their job to sell you a policy. And I get that that's what they're doing. And I'm not saying it's necessarily an agent's fault, but there's nobody knows that stuff. You literally don't know you weren't covered for something until all of a sudden, like, you're dealing with it. You're dealing.
We're not already at it. One of the things that I do, and just before I say that, most insurance agents don't really know the in-depth part of policy. Friends that we have in our review, seats by the insurance industry, if you're good. A lot of people that rightly, which is a French. And the over French, I have no experience with whoever you're given a look at standard operating procedures, and lo and behold, you have yourself a business. Most homes that have a mortgage might be insured.
Yes.
It's a necessary evil, right? That it can be helpful when it works right. So the reality is that there has to be somebody to sell them. So it's not like the agent's fault in that sense. But if an agent knows something, yes, they should know something. If there's a mandatory cap, $10,000 per walk.
There's something that agent with AI, like, it's not be para create poetry. That be the side and
I get back to on tape. My company added the entire food and create that product that we use exclusively for our clients internally. Where I can drop an entire policy and have it analyzed in 9 seconds. If I don't pay a letter from the insurance company and I can have a full argument against it within 3 seconds.
So the step should be the person to repair or assess the damage, a roofer in this case, then a phone call to you, and then you take it.
I'd be a phone call with you first. I'm happy to come out in the minute there's interior damage as well.
Right.
I mean, if there's an ensuing loss provision and the interior damage would be covered, yeah, you might be enough coverage. I'm going to come out there, I'm going to give you an inspection. I'm going to look at the roof. What I was saying is that if a roof leak is caused by a windstorm or hailstorm or lightning or things like that, then the roof might be covered. But taking the roof out of the question, if it's interior damage, yeah, let it come right away. I may determine that, you know what, $500 worth of staining in their ceiling is not worth filing a claim. Right. You've got a $2,500 deductible. Unless you got $2,500 damage, you get zero.
Plus, on top of it, you got your charts are going to go up, so you got to factor that in. Moral dilemma here, because this is a little bit of the don't ask, don't tell, right? A little different version, but the don't ask, don't tell. Because think about it, right now, in our world, what's happening is insurance, and so I say our world, our local proximity to where we are, insurance has doubled and tripled.
Yes.
And let's say Janine and Roy are our buyers. And Janine and Roy, we're doing a transaction. We're going to give the best interest rate possible. The insurance is what it is. But I now know what you just told us, that there are parts of their insurance that they did not know anything about. And if I overshare all of this information, I may scare them. The realtors, they decide not to buy. It's cheaper to rent. I don't have to worry about this. I don't want, it's scary, right? Now, all of a sudden, I got two realtors who don't get a commission. We don't get a commission. We don't, all of the pieces. So there's a moral dilemma about information, because my brain was like, all right, we should have every single policy run through your system to spit out a thing. And now all of a sudden, think about it from an advertising standpoint. Hey, you don't need me today. The house is great, but I want you to know, here I am adding value to you day one as part of your closing package. Call me if you ever have an issue with the house, right?
It's a very business idea.
It's what I do. That being said, though, you don't really want to hear the truth day one.
Right.
Because if you did,
You're like, I'm not doing this.
interested in this insurance policy, I want the one that covers all this stuff. So is that an option? Is that what an umbrella policy? Is that what something,
It just don't, it's the increase in losses. You could also, in the policy as a PDF, and go to the search bar, put in silly loss. See if those terms pull up.
all right, ensuing,
ENSUING. Okay, loss, ensuing loss.
Okay.
And then it basically says is that, in a nutshell, how it's put is the cause of the loss is never covered. Okay, so for example, your AC spits out a leak and it causes water damage everywhere, and the AC repair costs $1,600. Well, the AC was the cause of the leak, therefore the repair is not covered by insurance. But the ensuing loss was that water damage to the property, which will be covered. Right? Got it. So same thing with a pipe break, and that's where we talk about roof. If it rains and rains and rains and a roof leaks, but it was due to an older roof with maybe mechanical damage or wear and tear, just to maybe the flashing area above the garage started leaking, the roof's the cause of the loss. Okay, there's no coverage from the roof or about the inventory. Act to God. There we go. So if you
become an ace. Just kidding. What is, folks?
Florida, we focused on wind, hurricane, tornado, tropical storm, hail, lockdown, race up over. A lot of help. So one yesterday for Steve Dry with Love and Rock. And lightning. We have a lightning capital of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. If one of those three things, this is an opening by which water gets in and we're caught. Okay. You couldn't release that because of the loss. Those other perils of the roof might be cut.
How hard is it to prove?
Quote. Depends on.
Sarah called you and says, I think lightning hit my roof.
I can pull the weather report right now for chronologically know whether within a 10th of a mile of your house, there's lightning. Okay. There's weather experts out there. I'm friends with people all over the country that can provide a detailed map of every wind during and after a hurricane within 72 hours or after it was. The information's out there.
Yeah.
It's the internet. It's global. It's satellite. It's all out there for the taking. Just cost money to buy it.
Got it. So what I like about Dan's role, right? Dan's kind of like the Robin Hood of against the insurance. He is. You're the little one, little simple seller. He's fighting on your behalf against bothering you?
And there's a plan for your case.
Just using that now to pass the people. I'm keeping fight on behalf of the common man or woman against the big, large insurance company. All right. I got 1,000 questions like that. What percentage just settle, what percentage settle versus trying to fight back? Is there? Let's call for what it is. What are the inches on how much? Because this job is to say no.
But it's possible. It's not that expensive to fix. If it's not that expensive to,
You're talking for the homeowner.
yeah.
Okay.
I think as a homeowner, you go, what is this going to cost me? What kind of time, energy, effort, money is it going to cost me to fight this? Is it easier to just repair and take care of it on my own and just deal with it?
It depends on the frequency. It depends on what's damage, depends on what caused the damage, which depends on what are the probability of happening again, and how much you got for. Listen, I've got a car insurance, got $500 collision. If I have $1,000 damage to my car, well, no, I can't for it. There's no way. If it's even $2,000, I may not even make a claim because
That's the main purpose.
But if you have $2,500 deductible and you water line in your back of your refrigerator leaked, it caused damage to your kitchen, and replacing the kitchen that water damage was full of mold, so it cost you $40,000. I mean, I thought you're gonna make a coin. Yeah, you're gonna make it fun. Now, the question to you had as to when do they settle? That's a great question. What happens first is the insurance company hires an adjuster, whether it's a staff adjuster or an independent agency, to come out and assess the damage or write an estimate. So you're Sarah's adjuster, you're a public adjuster hired on behalf of the homeowner. Now the insurance company is hiring the bad guy, which is their adjuster. I'm just teasing.
Their person.
Right. Their person.
Right, absolutely. And that person's going to come out and we're going to talk about it together. I'm going to walk him or her through all of the different areas of damage, explaining to them a little bit about what my scope is going to be, scope being what is damaged and what needs to be repaired and or replaced. And they're going to go back to their office and they're going to put some things together. We're going to send it back to whoever runs their company or gave them the job. And
These meetings that are heated, you ever throw down.
It's like during a divorce, I mean, lawyer up. Everybody's represented at this point.
Yeah, but it sounds much more amicable.
I am never apprehensive against another adjuster cat for a couple of weeks.
So were you professional? I think it's fun in it, but you're professional.
Two, you both wanted to sing.
I never know what kind of person what kind of day that person's having. Sure. They could have found out their kid was sick. They could have found out their wife had cancer. They could have lost a parent last week. Just because they're in a belligerent attitude, I don't take anything right away. Just be easy about it. I'm that they're a little bit. I'll kind of get back a little bit. I'll let them do their thing. I'm going to talk to the policy, I'll unletter, reinforce with what they're looking at and let them know what to expect next. But ultimately, what's going to happen is that dollar amount's going to come out from the insurance agency with an initial. I'll just feed him out, like I did with your client. And you're going to say either it's acceptable or it's not. Unfortunately, the state of Florida, 99% of the time, it's not acceptable. The house burns down, it's a different story. But in most cases, with water damage and things like that, they're not going to be acceptable. Like you said, insurance companies still make money paying claims. They make money collecting premiums.
Right.
So from the time, all right, so let's keep going with that.
So you got yours, you did not accept it.
No, we didn't accept it. And then we went to each 80 attempts. Mediation or I messed up, bro. Mediation.
There was mitigation.
Mitigation, because I deal with mitigation reports.
There is mitigation as the action and mediation. Yes.
But anyways, the point is that, all right, so let's go back to, but I don't want to use my example. I want to use Sarah's example from the time so now she has the leak. She gets it, because I want to go back so people really understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Right away, your first call is to a roofer, come stop the leak.
Yep.
All right, you're going to ask the roofer, hey, why is it leaking? Mm-hmm. Well, we noticed, boom, 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 boom. Yep. Is there another question that she needs to ask the roofer before she calls you? Is there a straight call to an adjuster? Is she calling the insurance company next? What's the pecking order
I would always prefer that somebody has the issue to contact me before they contact their insurance company.
Got it.
Okay, because I can come out and take a look at it. Yeah, if they want to make a claim, that's fine. But I always hesitate and ask, so telling somebody to make a claim right away because I don't know if it's a viable claim.
Do you remember when I had mold?
I sure do.
So I had mold in my house. It cost me 25 large ones. I called Dan. I'm like, hey, is this a claim? I forget how and why, but he's like, no. I'm like, oh, so I got to pay this? I'm like, well, Sarah's not getting a bonus. I mean, it's like, it's kidding. But yes, I said that was it. She told me right away, hey, you're it's not going to happen because this, and this. I'm like, I was like, it wasn't fun, but all the whole different.
And that thought would.
It does.
Okay. So you want to know is when it's raining, is there any damage that can be attributed to the roof other than just water? Is helpful where the roof is going to tell you about leaks in the valley or leaks in the flashing area, which is generally an area of wear and tear. It depends on the roofer too. Sometimes you call somebody out that want to do quick repair. They want to make a couple grand to make a repair, and they don't want to hold off on the insurance.
Right.
They just the end result is you don't have a repair right away. You can have a tarp on it. Put a tarp on it. With heavy sandbags on the tarp. It's good for a few weeks until you figure out.
I'm sure kids love coming home with us.
Yeah.
Or mommy, wife, we the only house with the tarp.
I mean, maybe you can get choice of water tarps. That's what people see the tarps.
It's not bad. They're the only problem. You'd have to get all the see from the sky. But I do like where your head's at. That's around 2 years those I did.
I think look at the interior damage, determine whether it's viable to make a claim. Look at our policy, make sure it has the ensuing loss clause so that there would be coverage even if the roof isn't covered. And if there is, look at the damage and see what it would be. Is there a kitchen deck? All of it. Floor not going to be damaged by what? It's going to be laminated. It's going to be up or sun. Right. And then how much of it is it? Is it continuous throughout the house? Or is it just one room? If it's just one room, it may not make sense.
Talk a little bit about, all right, so she calls you, you come out, you estimate that, I don't know what your deductible is. Let's just say it's $2,500. You estimate that there's a $10,000 claim here or $20,000 claim, large enough. Now, do you bill, what's the compensation of an adjuster look like?
What do you something like that? We're capped by the state of Florida legislature. We can't charge more than 10% for a storm flood, for a hurricane flood. Okay, and we can't charge more than 20% for a non-hurricane.
Got it. So there's hurricane versus non-hurricane. So obviously the idea is to not for you not to get incredibly rich off of a natural disaster where people are kind of devastated, but you have the option to make more money, and then so does she write a check?
Well, it's that I'm 100%. I'm paid 100% of people you see. Only if I clear on behalf after the deductible's met. That's how I do it. Sure.
Interesting.
To no out of pocket.
I doubt about $100,000.
People that have their choices where they'll insurance.
I would imagine that they think having you come out is an extra cost on top of whatever disaster there is.
All the all how much is your fee to come out and inspect my house?
Yeah, that's really good to know.
Or so it's like somebody set that up.
Create a nice little softball for everybody. You're welcome, Simple Sarah. All right, so how long have you been doing? Let's talk. Let's start. How do we know?
Doing this in the end of 2014.
Okay. Why? What was the motivation?
Great question. So I was working in sales for a number of years, like 20-something plus years. I was working for Fortune 500 companies, business to business. I got testing 8 to 2,000 fans for the all-weather, person of mine. And what happened was I had a friend of mine. I was in a B&I group in Deerfield Beach. I was in my old industry. And I saw that a friend of mine who had been in the life insurance, we recruit came back for 90 days, whatever, felt any of the public job. Well, didn't know anything about it, didn't know what it was, had no clue. And over the last year or so, I saw his business grow. I saw his knowledge grow. He's 10 years older than I am, so he had a little bit more business knowledge than I did at the time. And he just kept doing really, really well. Got a car, put second edition on his house. And then about a few months after that 1 year mark, he made an announcement during his commercial at BNI. He said, listen, I'm looking to bring on an apprentice to learn my business. If you know anyone that would like to be an apprentice and take a look at this as a change your career, that'd be a great referral for me. Never been through that. Told my wife about it. I was bored. My wife at the time was in the mortgage business, doing well. I was fed up with corporate America, going to work at 7 a.m., coming home at 8 p.m. in a student in Florida. I've been doing it for 25 years. Working for Japanese-owned Fortune 500 companies where you're a number, not a person. And it got really, really boring. So I waited a few months and he made me out for again. I had to pull in my balance to the wall there. And I did it. Remember, to be an apprentice, you counted about 25 hours beats simple to do it convert. Yeah, well, I got 100 now. 25 hours of product. So what recall continuous month with anything no theory and apprentice. Go out in the field, learn the software, learn the lingo, just hit that in your apprentice for a year and then you get your full license. Thought about it some more and finally I decided to pull the trigger.
So that's a big barrier to entry, which I love. I wish more fields would have that.
Yeah.
Ours is decent. As a loan officer, real estate could be a little tougher. I've got to lie. Appraisals. I think appraisals are going to go out of business pretty soon, to be honest with you, because I think all of that's going to be automated. But let's see what else. I don't know if title needs to go for a title company, but I don't think they have any.
You have to be licensed.
No, I don't think so. Weren't licensed to the whole
Order processing.
like direct license.
A lot of it depends on the mentor. I mean, I go, guess bad realtor. I know plenty of bad mortgage people.
I had great mentor at Marriott.
That's a good one. Good thing. I never received water for that. So, yeah. So, yeah, I did. I had a great mentor who was on me constantly to follow the course, and I go on inspections with him. I was outside sales at the time. I stepped back from a managerial role to a rep role to take on this apprenticeship. So I didn't have to worry about anybody else but myself. And I had a customer that was feeding me some business. And my goal was to work for the year, put my time in, and then break away, which is what I ended up doing.
How do you like being self-employed?
I love it. Okay. I work from home. I go in the field when I want to. But I'm a type of personality. I work my butt off. If sitting out here ready for 20 minutes is probably the first time I've sat out there with nothing to do for 20 minutes during the day in a long time.
Are you, what day, like, so, all right, so wait, I don't, like, there's a term ambulance chaser. Is there such thing as a storm chaser?
There is, there's a storm chaser. So, with a storm chaser, really, there's fire chaser. So, there are a lot of public adjusters that focus on fire
in areas of the 20, not the town. So it's the high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not about the money. It's about the damage.
Got it.
It's about the damage. Fire will restore health.
Got it. There are, anyone who's ever lost someone to fire? Janine, Roy?
No. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Can of bath.
I do not.
Devastating.
But I can imagine it's devastating.
So what happened was, they have these police scanners, the fire department scanners, and these people listen for the scanners. And you go to a fire, I guarantee you'll see 3 or 4 chiefs walk through the cup. Then, and let me get some property looking, clean up the house, and get shit. I don't like to go to fires. I don't like to wait any long. It's just not my style.
I get why you do it, but it's a little aggressive for my taste too.
As far as storm chasing goes, after a storm, people need help.
Well, yeah.
People need help. Back when I was a younger man, back in the early 90s with Hurricane Andrew, So I was working for a company out in Miami and a tree fell in the building. We were floating for a month. So I got together with some friends and we went with a bunch of other people that were the part of this, very much like a Rotary Club. It was called JC's. And we went out to Miami and we brought water, ice, and food. People were devastated.
Yeah.
All because just was 1/10 of what it is today back then. So I didn't really have any interaction. But yeah, we go out there and after a storm and, see if we can help people, bring them water, bring them food, whatever's needed.
I was going to say a case of water and some food and a business card. People help.
Diapers too.
You don't want to be aggressive because the reality is
People are devastated.
people are devastated, especially after like the floods, these hurricanes.
Oh yeah, hurricane damage did a lot of damage.
Hurricane did a lot of damage. Hurricane Helene did a lot of water flood damage. Hurricane Ian did a ton of damage to Sanibel, at Kiva, at Fort Myers, and those areas.
Yeah.
And people had 4 feet of water in their house. They don't want to be sold anything 2 days after it happened.
Okay, so let's go over the morality time. I agree with you. It's my personality. It's her personality. We're not the aggressive sales type. But I always say, if you don't ask, someone else will. So, there are different personality types. Everybody reacts to events differently. And the three of us may feel one way, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that do get business. There's a reason they're called annual institutions for a reason. It's kind of gross to us that we would never do that. And we think it's like, hey, that's the last thing you should be doing it, but someone just got in a car crash. But people are getting business from it. So it does work. It's just not my personality.
But then the question is, what's your approach?
Coaches advertise social media partners. My company, I don't know if you've ever heard of a website called Mike's Weather Page.
No.
Okay. I had this spaghetti bottle. See, it is the spaghetti.
So just model. So you go on to watch the news and there's a storm coming and then all of a sudden you see this steady lines and like it could go this way, it could go this way, it could go hit England and come back for it in New York.
I guess it's perfect. He's a storm chaser up in North Florida, and that's what he does. And he has a page called Mike's Weather Page, and he puts a ton of information on there, and he sells advertising on there. We are the only public adjusting firm on his page.
Wow.
He puts out videos that he partners with us. He refers us claim all the time. We promote him like crazy. We don't pay for the advertising. He provides it to us based on the reciprocal partnership. And he has a huge following.
Right. And if you're in a spaghetti model path, you're paying attention.
You're paying attention. You're in Florida today, you're paying attention because let's face it,
You're none of those kinds.
I know it's spaghetti model. He's like super famous.
and he's a really down-to-earth guy, lovely family guy. He has a daughter who's Down syndrome. That, but very important. Well, yeah, you the most blunt and he did out to Florida, old Bill, work at the light. I mean, the same in the middle of authority. So you're at best, right? Well, it's a little bit different, but but the phone loans can be any emails. Remember Hurricane Andrew and you look at that. Okay, I was the top of the time, but I bluff back camera.
I do it. This was saying it's bad.
Yeah, and they just turned shop the last minute. Hurricane Irma was supposed to go a long way to turn you up the last minute.
Well, it's just like Wilma was hitting the West Coast and nobody had any idea it was going to pick up speed in the middle of the state when it hit like Okeechobee and then demolished the Southeast coast.
So you never really know. So yeah, you're paying attention to the models today, especially since there's so much stuff on media out there. But I've got great referral partners also: water mitigation companies, remediation companies, roofing companies that are out there looking for us because, like, watch an RBI group, we refer them, they refer us.
Is this going to be a big year for hurricanes?
I don't want to say self. I don't want to say I hope so because, but
You can predict it. It's not everybody people ask me like, are rates going down?
I believe Sarah's on the list as far as names.
Has there ever been a Hurricane Emmanuel?
No.
If you know why it will never happen?
Oh boy. Why?
Do you know what Emmanuel means? 5 would, and they would do that. Well, God wouldn't come and destroy something, right?
That's what I'm looking at the knee.
How do you not know my name?
Did you know what my name means?
Sarah?
Yeah.
Simple or simple Sarah?
No, Sarah.
Simple Sarah, I know.
It's simple princess.
I know. But I think it's going to be an active sperm season. I don't know how many are turning to major stars. We're seeing a lot in the Gulf these days.
Yeah.
The Gulf waters are hot,
Very.
and that heated water really speeds up the cyclones. I really. Are you prepared at home?
So I see this whole checklist from like a real estate agent in the mail.
How many true hurricanes have you been through?
I've been here since 2005. So everything since 2005.
Going was Wilma. 2000.
That's absolute fires.
You were here for Wilma.
Yes. Katrina, I was here for Katrina. I was here for
Was the
the power for sake.
Okay.
So my house is pretty safe. All the hurricane or well, the doors and windows and garage doors are hurricane impact, so I'm good there. And then as far as supplies, I've been through a decent amount of hurricanes. I grew up here, so I have a good idea of what to do. I have a pool, which comes in handy when your water gets turned off, so you can flush because you can fill the back of the tank of your toilet.
I know what you know.
Yes.
Careful flipping. Cutting in your pipes, be careful flushing, putting chlorinated water.
So that's why I bought it.
Important salt water. It's so careful, be salt water.
So it's chlorinated,
Okay.
but usually there's a lot of rain, so it kind of dilutes it. But if you don't have a pool, you fill up your bathtub and notice what you did. So I know what to do, but my house as the structure is in pretty good shape because of the packed doors, windows, garage door, everything.
My townhouse is a fortress.
The only thing that I take out is not screen over my pool.
I wouldn't even really worry about Cat 5 for us where we are, and I'm elevated. The one thing I don't have, though, for me, is I don't have the, I need to go through and do my whole checklist. I've got some candles and flashlights, but like that type of stuff.
That is cash. Cash is king.
There is absolutely zero cash in my account.
Because I remember during they opened the publics for a limited amount of time, and it was run by generators, and you could only pay it by cash. Certain gas stations that were open were only cash, so you can only pay for gas.
It's the checklist. So the bottom line is you got to go through the checklist. And if you don't have a checklist, shoot us a TM. We'll get you over a checklist. Yeah. But there's a bunch of stuff on there that people don't think of.
If you go to My Florida CFO, which is the Chief Financial Officer's website for the state of Florida, you can go to the plan for disaster planning website. They have a ton of information for PDFs and documents you could download.
What's that? myflorida.com. What?
It's myfloridacfo. Either it's .com or .gov.
Probably .gov.
I think myfloridadivorce.com also. That's I think for disaster. Just kidding, all you tackle very folks. All right, Dan, tell us a story. I want to hear. I want to hear about a story that someone that you were able to help that really meant something. Wasn't about the not that you do things for the money, but just forgetting the money, like something you truly felt good in being able to help someone. Like it wasn't like my house was a claim, but like I was fine. I wasn't a major, like it wasn't removed or distraught. Like had you had to help a family such as the individuals who, I mean, we had 100 and something people lost their lives in the floods in Texas. Yeah. So like, have you had to work in any kind of situation where your heart just got really tugged?
Yes. So I had a claim after Hurricane Ian. I believe, off the top of my head, I believe it was in the Port Charlotte area. Port Charlotte, or it might have been, was town, I can't remember off the top of my head. Certainly Port Charlotte area. It was a young couple, 2 young kids. He was in the fencing business. She was a wannabe influencer on TikTok. And they had a claim for their flood. They got paid minimal on that, but they had a huge roof issue and a lot of water damage poured into their house. And They said, and the adjuster for, I won't name the insurance companies, I don't want to do that. But the insurance company sent out an independent adjuster because after a story like this, but there's so many people impacted, they don't have nothing for them. Right. So they have to bring people from other states. This person came in from another state and started, looking at their house. And he said, I think you have a lot of problems. You have a lot going on here. I need to refer you to my buddy, do some mitigation guy can come in here and really take care of their house. And she said, oh, okay, sign whatever she needed to. And they came out and they literally took out every flooring in her house, every piece of drywall from floor to ceiling, all the insulation, okay, threw all the cabinets in the kitchen away. Some of it was wet, but it didn't even be thrown away. And when she found me from on a line, this is actually before I joined the current company I was at, she had received about $23,000 from citizens. But it's not their, well, it wasn't their fault, citizens. It was an independent adjuster that did it. Citizens actually, it's really good to work with in a store. So she reached out to me and she was heartbroken. They had to buy an RV to live in. And she had low additional living expenses. I got that. And I set to work and it was a battle because I had to basically recreate the entire house. She didn't have any photos of the house looked like. And the entire thing was torn apart. Oh my God. At the end of the day, I got her fully covered for all her contents. I did take it the other contents. But what her contents in a claim, and the whole letter knows what the contents are, and they're going to list out what it is. They're going to tell me how long they've had it, maybe provide receipts. They're doing the legwork. I'm not going to, all I'm doing is submitting it to the insurance company on their behalf. It's not fair for me to take a fee out of that. Now, they want me to do the legwork. That's a different story. In this case, they did like it. I was able to get about another $80,000 from their claim. Wow. Without mediation, without appraisal, without a lawyer getting involved. But it really, really made sense because, too, they're very, very, very thankful.
More importantly, as long as they were able to put their house back together and move out of the RV.
And they let them keep the RV. Well, because they bought a used one.
Got it.
And they paid $16,000 for it, and they had a $15,000 cap on theirs. Again, it goes back to insurance coverage.
So I mean, please check this year. Quite that. So what you're saying is that if something happens, there's a provision that you can buy an RV for $15,000 to live in,
Or you can just find alternative living situation for X amount of dollars.
Yes and yes. I'm behind no and no. I'll explain. When you have a policy, your policy basically has four main coverages in a homeowner's policy. Okay. You got A, coverage A is your dwelling, which is your house, your structure. It's a condo, it's a structure. Coverage B is other structures. Things that are on your property, but not connected to the property itself, and a clear space. House that's not a car. Shed. Not a gazebo because those are excluded. And not a swimming pool here. But a mother-in-law suite. Fence. Things like that.
Coverage leave the door open, mother.
Your mother-in-law.
No, all right. We got C.
Personal property. Yeah, your chairs,
TVs.
ATVs, things like that. And D is loss abuse. Okay. Is it reasonably expected that you could live in the house? Is it uninhabitable?
Yeah, the bathroom is not working. It's not working.
If you have a fire fire, that's a grease fire, and the kitchen's all smoky, you can still use the appliances, so it's not uninhabitable.
Right.
You have a flood where 4 feet of water comes in your house, you're not going to go. Right. In this case, the house was gutted. Now, the other part of it is, we just had a major storm where 1 million people filed a claim within 60 days. There was nowhere to go. Power was out in the majority of the area, 30 to 45 days. Hotels were booked. Airbnbs were booked. Okay. I didn't know where else to go. Yeah. Their only option at that point was to find a reasonable place to do that. And instead of doing that, they bought a used RV off somebody they knew, paid $15,000, $16,000 for it. And we made the case that they need to be reimbursed because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't find a hotel room.
Right. There was nowhere to be.
That being said, if they had a water leak and they had to be out of their house, And hotels were plentiful, and they would have bought an RV, but no, it wouldn't have been covered.
You know what? It's on circumstance.
Case by case basis.
You ever been displaced?
Yes.
Or hurricane racing?
No, the house that I live in now, the house that I bought, there was small repairs that needed to be done, which turned into much bigger repairs, and drywall had to come down, and parts of the ceiling had to come down, and pretty soon it was not livable with 2K. There was drywall everywhere. There was holes everywhere. The popcorn on the ceiling had to come down because of some damage that had been done. So we ended up kind of bouncing around in hotels for 63 days.
That doesn't sound very fun.
Hotels for fun vacation? No.
We didn't know you get rid of the popcorn and steal because those aren't aesthetically.
It was not very fun. And also, we had small kids. They were in school, so we had to be close enough to school so we could get them and pick them up every day. At the time, we had a small dog. He was with us for 19 years, so we had to be in a place that was dog friendly. The kids, it was not desirable. It was definitely a test of a lot of things.
I remember Hurricane Wilma was the first time that we lost. So I moved here in January of 2005, and it was the first time so we had Katrina in 05, and then as you said, Wilma was I guess 2000.
Was like the end of October.
So when we had Wilma, we lost power, and I was living in Meisner Park at the time. And every single palm tree that you see in the middle when you drive around, every single one of those were downed. And I remember that we had no power for a week. So one of the things that people don't realize that if you don't live around South Florida, it's that maybe not at our age anymore, but maybe it still happens at our age. But when there's a hurricane coming, there's always a hurricane party when you were in your 20s. It's just meant that, hey, you buy a bunch of food as you hope. You
Kind of put your friends over and you go for the best. Soon we wake up in the morning, big soaked up little bit, different looking. There might be some branches down and some water, but everything's better.
Yeah, so we party, we have a good time, and wake up. And then the other thing that people don't realize about hurricanes is the absolute most beautiful weather you have ever encountered.
Just the day after.
It's the day after. Here, there is no humidity. The sun, depending on time of year, but it's just beautiful.
Then it got hot.
And then there's no power. I remember we went to, and again, day one is like, no big deal. You figure it out. You still got plenty of food. Things are starting to fall from the freezer. And then it's like day 2 and day 3. All of a sudden, this isn't so fun anymore. Where's my shower? Where's my ability to,
It's like you see.
all the little things that we have. And I remember going to, so this was a little learning lesson for anybody. I remember we went to somebody's friend in Wellington who lived on a hospital grid.
Yes.
So the hospitals apparently get Baxter Minerals. And if you get on their grid, so little tidbit for any of you that
You're buying a house, look for the grid. During Wilma, I was in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and we were 4 blocks from the downtown Fort Lauderdale fire station off Broward Boulevard. So we were not on their grid. We were without power for 5 weeks. We were water turned off for 2 weeks, which is quite an experience.
What I say about Hurricane Wilma at the time was the weather wasn't that horrible.
It wasn't because I remember it was holiday fell over.
And we were like, how as hot as it is now in summer. Hurricane Irma in 2017. My house in the West Boca lost power for 10 days. And I was Bob Jasper. So I would leave the house around 7 in the morning, and I would do about 10 to 12 inspections a day, getting on a roof, up and down. I would come home, take a cold shower. Thank God I could have that, or jump in the pool. And at night, with no air conditioning, I would literally lay in boxer shorts on bed with a light sheet over me and frozen bottles of ice water on me to sleep.
Yeah.
I did that for 10 days. That was fun.
Yeah, it gets hot. Yeah, I actually had to go during Wilma. I had to go to a wedding. So the hurricane happened on Sunday or Monday. and I had to fly out on a Thursday. I was best man at my friend Crystal's wedding up in New Jersey. And I was like, literally the airport opened out. The airport was closed for like 3 days, and it literally opened 2 hours before my flight. So it was quite the show, but yes, it was a lot of fun. Well, Dan, any party words? If you want to, if you could, please make sure you give your contact information. We'll also put it in the show notes, but it's your contact for anybody who wants to reach out and talk to you about your service.
Absolutely. My cell phone number is the best way to reach me, 954-914-5454. My company is Coastal Claims. The website is coastalclaims.net. And you can learn all about our company. You can learn about me. And you can call me for a free consultation. Even if you don't think you have a claim, give me a call. I've walked a lot of people off the ledge before.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Or they had something, and they thought they might have something, and they didn't. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Darren.
Okay, that's enough whining for one day. We are so happy that you could join us today on Stop Whining About Real Estate. So please, not only listen, but subscribe, follow us, download, share, and if you're feeling it, give us a 5-star review. Hey, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email stopwhining@choicemortgage.com. Thanks so much.